The odd couple. Where's Felix and Oscar? As we watch Treasuries and gold both go up at the same time. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, April the 25th. And, well, as we say, the bubble will continue to grow and grow and grow until it pops. And at some point it will, and we'll get into that and more today. In the meantime, the first part of our Bubba's Bottom Line is brought to you by our friends at Brokerage. And again, as they say, $10 a month. How can I pass that up? It only saved me 5 figures last month. Look, you can go anywhere you want. We're just giving you our recommendation. I do have other brokers, but for active trading, again, that $10 a month is a whirlwind. And when you tie in that we've got their APIs, which allows us to automate, if you choose, and again, there's no charge for automation. It is up to you if you want to use it. But our portfolio models have the ability to be automatically traded. In the meantime, again, they get great customer service. Trade your brokerage, check them out. And of course, the bubble grows. Now, how big will the bubble grow? What can I tell you? Will this be bigger than the internet bubble? It could be. One thing we know for sure is we don't know nothing. Okay? In other words, there is no limit to how far this market can go. There is no limit to how far the rally can continue. We don't know when it will pop. We don't know what will be the cause or the eventual. There won't be a cause. Eventually, the buyers will run out, and that was what will be happening. But you've got, as long as you have a Federal Reserve creating money, and adding to the money supply and refusing to acknowledge inflation, you're going to have the markets continue to rise. Now, I think when you look into the bigger picture, the Fed meets again this week. God help us. Okay. And of course, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to change any of their ridiculous policies. Why would they? They appear to think everybody's happy, and I think they may be making a judgment an errant judgment there. Okay, but this world of financial currency manipulation does not work. It has never worked. And all we have seen since the inception of central banking, which I'm sure has been before that, but it goes back to the 1600s at least in England. But back to here, I forget what the year was, either whatever it was, 1913, 1916, or 1906. One of those three I think is right. But it doesn't matter. I try to forget because they are so bad for the country. They are so bad for our currency. They are so bad for our bottom line. And this was really accelerated since the genius, Mr. Greenspan. Okay. Just FYI, if you look at the wealth gap which we keep hearing they're trying to narrow is gotten wider. Okay. The upper 1% is up about 40%, while the rest are down. So again, but this is created by the very people telling you they're trying to even things out. Well, it doesn't appear that they're doing a very good job. And I'm sure this week at their meeting, they will do nothing as usual. Now, we had a little royal in the market on Thursday. You had President Biden talk about corporate tax at 43%, 43 point something percent. Really? Is this where we're going now? Look, if you think that they're only going to be taxing the wealthy, if you think that this is going to work, you are out of your mind. There is no way that they'll get away with that kind of tax because the company will go back to inversion. There is no doubt that we will go back to seeing inversion of any company that can. Now, some can't, but anyone who can, they will not be incorporated in the United States of America. You can bet on it. Okay, this is going back to a couple of weeks ago. We talked about Janet Yellen wanting to have a flat tax throughout the globe. Yeah, right. You got a shot there. Okay, but this is going to tax hikes are going to work them way down to everybody. Okay, because there's no way to finance, and this is not a Biden issue. Okay, this is an issue that has been building and building. And as we notice, the bigger numbers get, the faster they multiply. Okay, it's an interesting fact, but I think there are so many issues that we have going on, and from the pandemic, okay, which was really, it should not have been as bad as it was. But because many of the states wanted money, okay, it wasn't about the health of their citizens. They wanted money because they can't spend and control their own. Obviously there are many examples you can look at, but the bottom line is very simple. Okay, they kept the economy shut down to force the Fed to bail them out. Why? I have no idea. Of course, I'm still trying to figure out why they bailed out the banks in the last collapse, and why I know that when we get the next one, whenever that happens to be, they're going to bail them out again. And I think that in itself is criminal. Okay? Because what business do we get where we get to violate every possible rule, okay, with the blessing of the Fed, though, and get bailed out? Okay, I don't get it, but I guess I'm not supposed to get it. But you are seeing, obviously, a buy in gold and a buy in Treasuries, which is typically not the correct dynamics of everything. So which is going to be right? And the bigger question is who's going to be right, the stock market or the bond market? Okay, when it comes to the bond market is kind of signaling that it's over, but again, until it's over, until the fat lady sings, it ain't over. Okay, but we are starting to see again a couple of warning signs, and as we don't follow the news. I don't listen, other than what what I'm reporting here. I don't follow the news, and that we know that markets will last until they don't, but you did see housing missed for the second month in a row. Okay, so now from boxcar booming housing, you are starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. Okay, but you have a continuation of the Fed trying to control rates and manipulate, which no matter what they're doing, it still takes price discovery to make a market. So I think when you look at the big picture, okay, you've got a mess. Okay, and of course, when you continue to try to sweep the mess under the carpet, eventually it surfaces. And I think we're seeing that in a lot of the troubles, not only financially but also politically. When you've got guys like LeBron James living in $1 million homes in areas of the opposite of him, okay, and preaching of where it should be, okay. When you've got Reverend Sharpton flying off on a private jet to Minnesota after the verdict, okay, and guilty he was, and as I said from the beginning, Minnesota mishandled that whole situation. because again, but of course, Maxine Waters, I don't know that he's not going to get a retrial because of what Maxine Waters said. Now we'll see. Okay, I cannot tell you for sure. I don't, I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I don't try to play one. Okay, but you are seeing, okay, a lot of things, and I think this is one of the biggest things that I find the most troubling today is you've got Germany and France are pushing the EU to sue AstraZeneca on their drug. Now, first of all, there was a rush to get these drugs out. And I don't know what the problem was with the drug, but when you go into this method and you start letting things pass tests a little bit easier, and now you want to go out after and sue them, that's why we pay so much for everything, because, everybody's got to worry about everything else because we unfortunately don't have the real fact and the real benefit of true, fair, and honest competition. From the insurance industry to many others, okay, we don't see a true competitive market, which creates a bigger problem. And I think that overall, I think that obviously is a bigger problem for us, the consumer, because there is nothing like competition to keep pricing in line. But like I said, there's a lot of things to worry about. And of course, there's still the battle over guns, okay, and taking them away and eliminating our Second Amendment right. Now, if we look at it from a straight logic standpoint, do you think, there's any chance to get rid of the guns? The answer is no, there is not. Whether you're a gun supporter or not, you should be a supporter of the Second Amendment. And you should, the criminals will always have the guns. But just like gambling, just like dope, okay, whether it's legal in your state or not, if you want to get a joint or you want to make a bet, you can. Just like you'll be able to buy a gun, if you want one illegally. And that's where, once again, we see the dramatic mistake by the imbeciles that run this country trying to take away America's freedoms when you can get what you want anyways. This is not a new issue. This is not a new idea. And I got news for you, okay? It's the illegal guns that are more problematic in the hands of the criminals than it is the legal guns in the hands of citizens that are licensed and trained and aren't trained to be killers. So you can try all you want, but as you can see, CNN already misses President Trump because they're about ready to go out of business, as they are now down about 60% on revenues. And, this is, they lost more than winning the election. So we'll see. In the meantime, again, look, there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and hopefully it will get resolved, and hopefully we will move on and move forward and continue to grow as a country, because after all, we should be all Americans first before anything else. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market update after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, I tell you, we got some great partners here. It's Bubba's Daily Update and Bubba's Bottom Line, and of course, Family Farms. What a partner they are. We've got the same goals and ambition for farmers to try to help them, not teach them how to farm, but help manage the money and the risk of what they do. And, they're a great partner for me, and I can't wait for their July event. And July will be here before we know it, and we're opening up, and I'm excited. Even here in Las Vegas, we're opening up 100% on June 1st. So still masked, but hey, at least the town will be open. So Family Farms are great people. And of course, our other brokerage partner, the CTG group. Now, again, I have other brokers for futures and commodities as well. But for our letter of direction trading, CTG is the only authorized partner. Okay. Nobody else will get my signals. I'm not sending them. But they have great customer service. They handle it professionally. They take care of you, and they're so good. They execute all of my portfolios. So again, I have my money with them, and they're executing for me. So if they're good enough for me, they're good enough for everybody as far as I'm concerned. And of course, they've got some great managed futures products as well. If you want to check them out, go to info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba, and check them out. And of course, our commodity report written by Andy Hecht, I brag about it every day, but he is by far the best. And, you ought to tune in on Monday night and listen to him and I do our podcast. But when his report is so comprehensive and so professional that it's amazing. And if you see what he talked about months ago, what's happening today, you'll be amazed. So it's called Technical. Check it out at BubbaTrading.com. And, yesterday we did a hedging webinar. Check it out. If you want to see the recording, just shoot me an email at BubbaTrading.com. And of course, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/BubbaTrading. That's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and me, your host, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, April the 25th. Time flying by. And, the markets continue to amaze. And the market segment is brought to you by our friends at the CTG Group. Okay. Again, our letter of direction, futures and commodities broker. I do have other brokers, but they are the only ones that are licensed for our letter of direction. And they do a wonderful job. They've got they've got the best customer service in the futures business I've ever been associated with. They execute all my portfolios. They've got some great managed futures products. Check them out. info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba Trading. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. Not Bubba Trading, but Bubba. In the meantime, so as we saw last week, the markets basically were a touch lower in many, but actually printed some new highs. But what was really interesting is the S&P on Friday hit a new all-time high. Even after the Biden potential, talk about corporate tax, you saw a dramatic move down. And of course, after that, it was all over. Then we're going right back up again. And you're in consolidation in all the major indexes. It looks like the Russell is now going to join the party. Now we're still short the Russell. We're long the Dow, we're long the S&P, and we're long the NASDAQ. But the Russell could change shortly, but it does look like, it is starting to join the party. But in the meantime, although there was marginal loss because we had early selling early in the week, the markets came at charging. Okay. So, and we'll see. You've got the Fed, which we know next week and what are they going to do? Nothing as usual. The metals markets, again, we are long gold. We are now long silver. If we were trading platinum, we would still be short platinum, but they were both slightly higher for the week. It wasn't dramatic. And not that we're looking for dramatic. The truth of the matter is, I would love to see just a long, slow grinder. Okay. But, again, they're both bullish, but platinum is still negative, interestingly enough. And they've been relatively choppy, but it looks like they're about ready to take a run. The bonds and notes were still split. We're still short bonds. Long bonds, short notes, which is actually a spread. They call the knob. But overall, I think that, the 10 years are going to continue to fall. I think we're seeing the battle with the interest rate markets. And again, I always have to defer to the guys who got more money, which is the fixed income markets. But we'll see. Again, if it changes, we'll be willing to change. Copper has been very choppy for us the last couple of weeks, but it looks like it's finally started to break out big to the upside once again. Okay. And, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? I mean, I think that it could go a long way once again, as you continue to see demand. And, we had talked about this in the Monday night call that maybe China was actually pushing it down on purpose, and suddenly we've taken out again, and we are long now, so that's good. Nat gas was higher for the week, and we are still long. Oil was slightly lower for the week. We're long again, but again, slightly lower versus getting clobbered, and we're now look like we're building new support, new resistance levels at higher levels. Which again, unfortunately, with the criminals at OPEC in play, we could go much higher. $100 is not out of the question anymore. Dollar continues to get smushed. It is under pressure constantly. And of course, that's the manipulation of the Federal Reserve and the other currencies around the world. And as we look at the grain markets, okay, grains are exploding. Okay. As we have said here many, many times before, we thought the grains are going a lot higher, and they continue to go higher. Now they're in pretty nasty backwardation, which means that, May and July are much higher priced than November and December. Now, I do think that over time that will reverse out. I do think it's pretty bullish. And I think you look at some of the factors around the globe, okay, I think we could have a monster move still. And we've had a monster move already, but it looks like up we go. On the other side, conversely, the meats seem to be in some trouble. Okay, now again, they're at a point where we're short them all, but I would love to be a buyer. But I will wait, as I'm supposed to. But I think they're going to be fine. Again, markets, we know markets gyrate back and forth, so let's not get carried away. But they were all down and down big, except for hogs made a light week recovery. And in fact, tonight, well, not tonight because I don't open tonight, but tomorrow morning, we will rotate and switch back to long hogs. In the sauce department, you've got, they're all doing pretty much as we expected. Okay, cotton has rallied, at the bottom, we're long. OJ is still headed to the south, and we're still short. Coffee is headed higher, and we're long. Sugar is going higher, and we're long. And cocoa has been kind of flattish to lower, and we're short. So we're in pretty good shape. It was a pretty good week for us. And, Bitcoin, everybody's alarmed by the Bitcoin sell-off over the weekend and at the end and on Friday. And you know what? So what? What do you think? It's going to go forever? At some point, you're going to get some profit taking. Okay. The cryptocurrencies are proving that they're real because the governments are really concerned. And I think, you're going to see the ability for these to continue to soar higher, and again, there'll be pullbacks, but now they have a lot of non-fungible tokens now. Again, they're doing everything in their powers to restrict any potential for manipulation. And of course, you have many calling for the end of the bull market now. Do not listen. Let the tape tell you. Let the market tell you. Do not get conned into believing that anybody knows when this is end, because anybody who says they do is a liar. Nobody knows when this bull market will end. Okay, it could go, who knows? Okay, we know it's artificial. We know it's built on nothing, but it doesn't matter. And valuations, when they want to go up, don't matter. So don't let those who pretend to have a clue screw you into thinking that they can tell you when the top will be here. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out here a break, and we'll be back with my commentary right after the break. In the meantime, you know about our other brokerage partner, Tradier. Now, look, Tradier, I just say this to you. I have other brokers. I have all the majors and some small ones, but at the end of the day, $10 a month. Okay, think about it. Last month, I saved over 5 figures. Okay, so, do you want to pay $10 a month? Do you want to pay more? That's up to you. They've got great customer service. They answer the phone, unlike some of the others who have not answered it when you need them. And of course, if you want to automate your portfolio, you can do so through Tradier. We have the APIs, and we have automated our equity portfolios and our hedging programs. And you can check out our hedging program, which we did on Saturday. If you want to check it out, you can email me and I'll send you a copy of the recording. But, again, I remind you that, look, it's about you. I've done the due diligence, okay, and vetted it and scoped it out for you. And, of course, our partners at Family Farms, great partners, really great people. And I can't wait to really get to work with them because, we've been together but separate, because of the pandemic. But, as the vaccines come out, and, of course, Johnson & Johnson just approved. So we'll get more out. And, again, you're going to start to see more open. So that's all great. Our commodity report written by Andy Hecht, Technical, it's spectacular. That's all I can tell you. Spectacular. Check it out at BUBBATrading.com, Technical. And, of course, our high school program at patreon.com/BubbaTrading. It's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary. Here we go. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, April the 25th. And, of course, I always comment on a couple of things at the end. And, I find a couple of these things interesting. I think, first of all, to have Reverend Al Sharpton go running off to Minneapolis on his private jet, I think is ridiculous. I think he's a jackass anyways, personally. Okay. But the other big thing of the week is, you're hearing this talk of CEOs and they're overpaid. Well, okay. But who created the wealth gap? Who's allowing for it to happen? Again, those aren't, public companies, those aren't just assigned. Okay. And, I think that you saw that the system, and again, this becomes more political because the states on the left systematically shut down all small business, only allowing these CEOs to get more because they got more growth, they got more company business. And again, if their pay is built on equity, then you're, of course, going to be overpaying them. I mean, are not athletes overpaid? Okay, do you not think that, $50 million a year to throw a football isn't slightly overpaid? But it's okay. But when a CEO makes the money that he earns from helping build a company, look, again, I think we focus on the wrong side of the ball. Okay, I think we should focus on the government. How many checks did Congress miss during the pandemic? Okay, how many government people didn't get paid during the pandemic? The senators, they got paid, they got a raise. Congress, they got paid, they got a raise. Okay, so if we're so worried, why don't we start with the problems we can mend right at home? And I don't think that Congress should have gotten a raise, and I think they should have cut their pay during the pandemic. But of course, God forbid they would do the right thing, okay? Because they certainly don't have our best interests at heart. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. As always, I thank you for being a part, and we'll be back again tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. In the meantime, we'll see what the markets look like tonight when they open, and of course tomorrow. But it has been very slow and very challenging. But whatever it'll be, we'll be ready, and we'll have our algorithms cranking. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, and of course every Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line.